Well, this is probably a good time to start then. So, as the video of the title hopefully suggests, this is my 2,000-ish mile, 6-ish months review of my Husqvarna 701 Supermoto. So I've got a 2023 model that I bought in, I want to say, August of last year. It was still quite hot. It could be September though, to be fair. Yeah. And it is now currently May 2024, so is it about 6 months? Yes, might be over 6 months, but yeah, around 2,000 miles. Basically check in, have I had any more issues? How's the bike sort of changed? Does it behave any differently to when it was brand new? The way I feel about the bike, the way it rides, what I wanted it for versus, you know, has it met my expectations, all that kind of stuff. So I'll start with the juicy stuff, which is, have I had any more problems? And the answer to that is yes. Let me just get that out of the way. Yes, as you can see, if you look at my dashboard, I have an error light. And it says FI A85, not ABS. A very confusing error message. It looks like it says ABS, but it actually says A85. The internet doesn't know what it means, but the outcome basically is that the traction control and ABS don't work, and I don't know if this is related, but the fuel light is on no matter what. You can fill the bike up and the fuel light stays on. So it's basically your classic KTM/Husqvarna with the dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree by default. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of talk online about KTM and Husky being reliable nowadays, and that may be the case for a lot of people, but I'm very much still getting the stereotypical experience with this bike. You can look at my previous videos for the other issues I've had. They've not been electrical, to be fair, but it definitely hasn't been smooth sailing, this one. I'm not supposed to be riding the bike right now. I probably shouldn't put this on video in case it comes down to a warranty battle with KTM, but hopefully they will never put 2 and 2 together if it does come to that. But this happened 3-4 weeks ago, maybe even longer. It was actually before I went on holiday, so it's like 1.5 months ago. I got this error come up. Now the bike still rides and runs fine, like dynamically everything is fine. It's just you don't have the electronics and you don't have a fuel light. So of course I got in touch with the dealer, with my nearest dealer, not the dealer I bought from, because I went further afield to get a good deal, which maybe I'm paying the price for that now, but so I contacted my local dealer. They asked me a few questions, asked for pictures and videos and the current mileage, and I did all that, and then they said, and bear in mind, so this is at the beginning of April, end of March, they said earliest we can get you in is 28th of May. 28th of May, that's 2 months, maybe more than 2 months wait, just to get it in the workshop. Not to guarantee to have it fixed, just to get it in the workshop for however long it's going to take them to diagnose. That is insane. Can you imagine if you bought a car and it had an issue like that where none of the safety features work? Not that I really care that much, especially when the weather's like this. But can you imagine them turning around and saying, yeah, we can't look at it for 2 months? Insane. To be fair to the guy, he did suggest that I get in touch with the dealer I bought from in case they can get me in any quicker. But because they're a bit further afield, it's just a bit of a mission to get there and back, especially if I have to make multiple trips. I'm not really that bothered about the fact it's had an issue. What's shocked me most is how long it takes to get it in, to get sorted. So that is not ideal really. So something to bear in mind. If you are in the Midlands, I'm in Worcestershire, sort of West Midlands area, and you have an issue with your KTM Husqvarna, you ain't getting seen for at least 2 months. I don't know if it's different if you buy from that specific dealer, but yeah, not good. Not good. That's out the way. So I can talk about how the bike has been to actually ride. You know, am I enjoying it? Any mods that I've done? in case you haven't watched my other videos. I recommend you do. It can be a bit waffly, but all the good stuff about the bike is in there. So I've done exhaust, dongle, mirrors, and I think that's it. Oh, and I have a preload adjuster on the rear shock. Yeah, so I've adjusted the suspension as well, front and rear. But that's all I've done. And it has been, if you're in the mood for it, this bike is a blast, and you will come home thinking, I've bought the right bike, why on earth would I need anything else? But let's be honest, those days, those perfect days, you know, as bikers we're sort of chasing that perfect moment where the wind's hitting you, the sun's shining. It's kind of happening right now, and just a wave washes over you of just pure joy. It's like euphoria. Any biker will know it. And yeah, for that, this bike is it. And for local sort of journeys less than an hour, I'd say perfect. But it's not exactly a mile muncher. Taking it on the motorway, it's doable, like gearing wise, it's geared for it perfectly, but wind and comfort wise, not going to be a great time, but it's doable, And because of Euro 5 fueling issues, it's hard work in town and low speed situations. You're constantly on the clutch to stop it stalling out or lunging, and I've actually had the bike cut out going between first and second gear if you let the revs dip, which is insane. Like, it's fueled so lean that it will just cut out if you spend too long changing between first and second gear. It's crazy. But yeah, what a fun bike. It's so good, and it makes you feel naughty, and that is an important thing on a bike for me. You have to feel a little bit antisocial, a little bit like a rebel. Being a biker, a big part of it for me at least is that feeling of rebellion and doing something a bit different and being a bit naughty, and this bike does that so well. Aside from like a full-on sports bike, this is about as naughty as you can get for a street bike, I think. So I love it for that. It makes me feel so good, and if a bike can make you feel good even while having a set of issues, I think you're still onto a winner, because that's what it's all about. I could have a Honda CB650R whatever, and it might run like a Swiss watch, and it might get great economy, and it might look decent as well, but if it doesn't make you feel like a bit of a bad boy, maybe it's not the bike. It wouldn't be the bike for me, you know. I actually quite like the look of the new, they've changed the styling a bit on the CB650R. I think it looks really good now. It looks a bit more like a full-on sports bike, which is never a bad thing. Ooh, my foot just fell off the peg. There's another thing with it, it's got small foot pegs. Oh, we've got the Popo here. Best behaviour. They've got better things to do than pull over tow rags on Supermotos. Hopefully, anyway. I was overtaking people on a country road on this, and I saw blue lights coming up behind me. I thought, fuck, they're going to do me. They're going to absolutely do me. And they come up behind and they stay behind me, and I'm like, oh god, they're staying behind me. So I pull over and they just zoom past, and it's like, oh, a weight has been lifted. Oh god, it's like your heart just skips a beat. Alright, we're going to have to do the Popo here, I think. If they'll let me. Thank you, Popo. Give him a wave. Yeah, let's dip in and out of here. Hopefully the pose didn't see that. It is good for filtering, apart from having to work the clutch so much. It is good in terms of body position. You're so high up as well, you can see absolutely everything. It is a dream being this high up in traffic. on. It sounds so effing good with this Wings exhaust. I can't recommend Wings enough for if you need an exhaust for a KTM parallel twin or single. Husqvarna's too. Wings are your go-to. The customer service is outstanding. It's way cheaper than Akrapovic or Yoshimura, and the quality is just chef's kiss. It is so good. They accidentally sent me the wrong link pipe, and they were so apologetic and sent a new one out next day delivery from the Czech Republic, I think it was. So good. And they even put it down as free, so it didn't incur any, like they put it as a gift, so I didn't get the customs charge as well. It was brilliant. What else is there to say? Slightly unreliable, just as fun as when I first test rode it, if not more, because now it's got that exhaust and I've softened off the suspension a bit. If you watch my test ride video, you'll know probably my main criticism of the bike was how firm the ride was. I could not believe how firm the ride was. You look at it and think, long travel suspension, dirt bike sort of inspired thing, it's going to have a plush ride. It's going to be, no, this is like a hard bike. It wants to go quick around corners, not over bumps. That's one thing I'll say actually. The suspension, since this was a new bike when I bought it, it was at its firmest when it was new, and I think over the miles it has actually, I wouldn't say softened, but like it's broke in the suspension, and I don't find myself noticing the harsh ride. And for me, if you don't notice something too often, that kind of means it's not an issue. Whereas if something's getting on your nerves, that means you are, you're constantly aware that something is going on. So it's good on that front. I'm quite happy about that. And I haven't changed the seat. A lot of people say you absolutely need the comfort seat. I think the seat is actually breaking in a bit as well, because yes, I still get a numb bum if I just sit on the bike for an hour straight, but there's not many bikes you can sit on for an hour straight and not get a bit of a sore bum, so I don't really hold that against it. Cleaning the bike, it's something I don't do often enough, admittedly. Not the easiest bike to clean, but not the hardest either. The engine and the frame, it's all in one sort of area. There's not too many fiddly bits to clean, apart from the spokes on the wheels, but I spray product on the whole wheel, wipe the rim and the nipples. I ain't fucking about cleaning spokes. They can go rusted and I'll get them changed if that ever happens, because I ain't got the time to be wiping individual spokes. Maybe I'm not committed enough. Quickly going back to riding dynamics, the tyres are not very good in the cold. I think they're okay in the wet, but when it's cold and wet, it's not confidence inspiring. You end up kind of riding around upright and a bit tense about it. Oh, but these tyres are really good when it's dry and warm. You put the bike on its side and there's no like awkward transitions that happen when you're sort of halfway. It's very consistent, like leaning 10 degrees feels the same in terms of feedback as leaning 30 degrees. There's no like drop off or anything untowards, which is really nice. In terms of actual stickiness, they're supposed to be very good as well, so ideal when you're riding the bike in the weather it's meant to be ridden in. Having said that though, it is a very good bike to ride in the winter months, because hand grip, these are what are they called, hand guards, they take the wind off your hands nicely. I've plugged in, the battery is right underneath the seat, which is dead useful for plugging in a heated vest. So I've got, with my heated vest and my hand guards and some proper winter gloves, I've got heated gloves as well. I'm a proper tart. All in all, after 2,000-ish miles, I don't actually know how many miles it's done, because I also noticed that when this issue occurred, the speedo started overreading. So it could be registering more miles than is actually on the bike. Would I recommend it? Yes, as long as you don't mind having issues and you don't mind them not being sorted immediately. And also yes, as long as you don't mind a bike that's a bit rough around the edges, and if you don't mind forking out for a remap if you want smooth throttle response at low reps. So a lot of caveats basically, which makes sense because a Supermoto is quite a focused machine, so it's not going to suit all audiences. Wow, look at this. Well, enjoy this mega filtrage. This is insane. But yeah, it's 20 to 5, so I don't know why that's so busy now. You should all still be in work. So I suppose with the review out of the way, anyone that's still here is probably someone that follows me already. I'll give a bit of a life update for those interested. In January, I have mentioned this on previous videos, but in January I became redundant at my job. I was made redundant, which is slightly unusual probably for a 28-year-old to go through a redundancy, but it's actually my second one. I don't know why I keep attaching myself to sinking ships, but there you go. And I was out of a job basically from January through to March, and then in mid-April I did a complete career change. I wouldn't say career change, job change. From working in IT, I'm now a Royal Mail postman, which is very different to all the jobs I've worked in the past. I've only ever had office jobs and IT roles, and so now I'm working outside every day, and while the pay is absolute dog shit compared to what I have been used to in the past, my quality of life and my overall happiness is so much better than it used to be. But basically what this means is I can't afford to be buying new bikes, I can't afford to be buying fancy gear all the time and mods. I have to be a lot more sensible with my money basically, and with my bikes. I've already sold one of my bikes, I'm planning on selling another, so yeah, there might be less oh fucking hell. Why are you fucking sitting on the line? Move over! But I will try and get out on the test rides still when I can, but they're not really going to be with a view to actually buying anything. So I'm sticking with the current bike for a while, and to be honest, the moment this rolled off the showroom floor, it lost about £1,000 in value. Quite tiring actually, because everybody was sat on the fucking white line being a dick. But the onus is not on them to do anything. As the filtering biker, it's up to me to get through, and we did, safely-ish. So, happy days, everyone's happy. Everyone gets home today. There's the little, it's a mini life update, but yeah, I would say I've found a lot of happiness in changing job to something, I mean, let's not beat around the bush, something that pays shit and any unqualified person with the right attitude can do. But for me, it's working great. I feel my sleep routine is completely fixed. I haven't felt the need to have alcohol. I haven't had a beer for like 3 weeks by choice. Like, I just don't feel the urge. I'm not bored. You know, when I get home, I have the urge to get out and do things like this. And let's not forget that being a postman, I get home at 2:30, 3 o'clock. When the light, you know, you've got daylight until 9 o'clock. So you've basically got 6 hours still of daylight to enjoy after you finish work. You can't say that when you work a 9 to 5. I've lost weight. I've gone down at least 1 waist size in the 3 or 4 weeks that I've been doing the job. If you're stuck in a rut but you're making good money, As long as you've got a good amount of savings and support from your loved ones, give it a go. Do a quote shit job. You might find it's actually a lot better for you. And I'm not saying that I'll never go back to IT. Maybe when I have kids and a lot more bills to pay, I will have to go back and make a bit more money, but on the here and now, I'm paying the mortgage, I'm paying the bills, I've got enough money to feed myself and put petrol in the motorbikes, so why on earth would I do anything else? But I'll wrap up here. It's been a really fun experience owning this bike, and I look forward to the next 2,000 miles on it, and hopefully get this issue sorted at the end of May and then get it booked in for a remap. Anyone that made it far enough into the life update, thank you, and you know, drop a comment, let me know how you're getting on. If anything resonated with you, I'd love to hear it. Thank you for joining me, and catch up with you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget to like, please. I hate to be that guy, but always nice to get a few likes on your videos, isn't it?